What up, Dokkanners? We are just a couple of days away from the start of the 8-year anniversary. So in today's video, we're going to be covering all of the EZAs that are coming up, and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and opinions on how they should be built in their hidden potential. If you guys have your own thoughts and opinions, I'd love to hear from you guys. Share them in the comments down below. Some of these guys are going to be much more obvious than others, just like the previous one. So I would love to know what you guys think, depending on your experience level, your luck, your, I don't know, your units, anything. There's a lot of different factors that can influence how you would want to build a unit, but I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on these. And ultimately, you should be checking out showcases for all of these different units. Units that, you know, if you think they should be built a certain way, if somebody else is saying something different, there might be a reason for it. So the best thing you can do is to look out for those showcases, not just on my channel, but other channels as well, because you can see differing viewpoints on how these units are going to be utilized, which way is the best way to bring out the most out of the unit. Very, very important to see that. And I'm looking forward to that because I think my Spirit Bomb Z is going to be built very different from a lot of you guys in the comments. And we're going to see the contrast in styles on those two units because people have been saying that Spirit Bomb Z might want to be built a different way. We will eventually see why that is the case. I can't wait for those showcases. So that being said, let's jump in. We're going to start with the part 1 EZAs. We're going to be covering all 6. We're not going to be counting the free-to-play EZAs because those were already covered in the previous video. So check those out already. But we're going to be doing part 1 first. So Vegito Super Buu, then Blue Kaioken, Spirit Bomb Absorb, and then my boys, the 5-year fusions, the creme de la creme. That being said, let's jump in. So we're starting with the Super Vegito. This guy was met with a lot of flack when JP first got this unit. So let's go through what the unit does. Causes immense damage, raises allies' attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn. Damage received minus 80% from normal attacks, counters the tremendous power. Defense plus 150, attack plus 20 up to 120 with each attack received. Medium chance to crit. Key plus 1 up to 3. Here we go. Defense plus 30 up to 90. Critical hit plus 10 up to 30 every time the character receives an attack 3 times in battle. So what that means is you have to get hit a total of 9 times in order to fully render out the passive. You got to get hit every 3 times, you get a little boost. E plus 1, defense plus 30, crit plus 10. You got to get hit 9 total times. You have to get hit 6 total times to build up the attack anyway. So this guy has to get hit a ton. How do you build this unit? The unit is not meant to withstand a super attack. This unit is meant to withstand normal attacks. So already you're in a position where if you're going to be running this guy, you have to know full well where you're running the unit. If you're running this unit in the face of a super attack, that's a you problem. You shouldn't be doing that because this unit is not meant to do that. Ideally, a tracking unit, someone who can scout super attacks would be effective. Or after a super attack has occurred, fresh off of that, you have the most amount of time before the next super attack occurs. So there's going to be a little bit of strategy, a little bit of planning involved in placing this unit on a team. But how do you build him? The answer, in my opinion, is full critical. Why? Because I think trying to make this unit something that it's not by giving it more utility outside of its core design is foolish. You're not going to accomplish it. In fact, you're going to undercut the very essence of the character. If you give this unit full dodge, which some of you might think is the way to go, yeah, you do have an out, 100% damage reduction against super attacks, but it's not always a guarantee. This unit is a base 5 additional since this is a physical unit, so you can't even go for the full like 30 plus dodge rate that you might want to go to, but even then that's a medium chance to dodge. It's not always going to kick in, sort of like how the critical is not always going to kick in. And also you also undercut this passive right here. You want to be getting hit 3 times for each incremental boost. You got to hit a total of 9 times. You need that. If you don't get hit and you dodge it, it hurts this and it hurts this. So I think max critical is the way to go. Let this unit do what it does best. Critical counters will give you extra cheap shot damage on any given turn that you might not otherwise feel is very productive. If this guy can launch 8 counter attacks, that is going to yield some nice results. So let me know what you guys think about this one. I'm going to go ahead and say, ew. I'm going to go ahead and say max critical, balance anything. Kind of spoiled the rest of it. Whoops. Moving on now to the Super Buu EZA. Now for this one, there's a lot to unpack here. So I'm going to try to simplify things by just summarizing how this works. Basically, this guy is going to be usable for the first 5 turns. So you're going to be running with this unit as its base form for 5 turns. Then, depending on how you perform in battle, if you're dominating, you will turn into an unstoppable monster. If you're struggling, you will turn into a defensive specialist. And if you're mid, you will transform into mid. And I'm saying that literally, all right? This is not a cheap shot against Gotenks. Relax. I'm just literally saying if you are mid, your transformation will also be mid. Now, let's take a look at these. Now, for these 3 different units, the best way that I could suggest you guys build your hidden potential is based on how often do you think you're going to be finding yourselves in these forms. Because once you transform, there's no turning back. It's happening on turn 5, which means you're more than likely probably towards the tail end of the event anyway. So your final form will be there for just a couple more turns. So with that said, how can you best build a Super Buu that accounts for the base form and whichever one of these forms you find yourself more often transforming into. I personally feel like building for the Buhan is the best way to do it, because this is more often than not what I think people will be having with all of the powerful units that exist nowadays, with all of the lesser events that exist, along with the more difficult ones. You might find yourselves being able to dominate the event for the first 5 turns, where you can transform into Super Buu. Plus, even if you want to, or sorry, Buhan, even if you transform into Bukulo, I think these two forms sort of have the same policy when it comes to how to build their hidden potential. The Gotenks is a bit of an exception, I suppose, but with the extremes sort of being similar in how you should build, I think that's how you should kind of base this on. I think max additional is the way to go. Why? Well, the reason for max additional is because you've already got a base 5 critical, with this guy being an STR unit, so that already accounts for your critical hit. Additional will allow you to cover more defense on the Bukulo form. That's being supplemented with damage reduction and team defense and all that stuff. You're going to be very, very good when you transform into Bukulo. When you go to Buhan, you have a multiplicative super attack that requires maintenance, requires upkeep. You got to be launching attack after attack after attack to keep your numbers as high and as elevated as possible. Given that the window of opportunity is only 3 turns, that's 2 appearances before your attack stat and your defense stat start to gradually drop off. So if you can launch 1, 2, or even 3 supers on 1 turn, with this being a multiplicative one, you will be getting some crazy numbers. That combined with guard, that's really, really good. And by the way, you have a built-in additional chance for a super attack in here. So 3 supers is very possible if you give this guy full additional on the build. So that is why I think max additional is the way to go. At that point, you can either focus on critical or dodge. I suppose throw in some dodge in there just to be safe. You know, 6 dodge is better than 3. It's literally twice as good as the 3 dodge. So might as well go for that. As far as Buu tanks, I mean, I don't know. He's not bad. I'm not trying to say he's bad. He's just, in terms of his identity, like how you would build this unit, I can't really pinpoint it. Probably a critical, an additional, maybe a little bit of everything. So that's why I think accounting for these 2 is better. So that's why I am giving him max additional, balanced dodge. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Moving on to Blue Kaioken. This guy is a cheese. I love this unit because when this unit first released, the main event on Dokkan was the escalation event, the Ultra Instinct Goku, the legendary Goku event. And a lot of people would do this trick, which I loved. You would stack this unit's attack as much as possible for the first few turns. And then when you got to the final phase of the event, where dodge was disabled for you and the enemy has 50% chance to dodge, and the unit is also very, very strong, people would then stack all of the attack and then use the Spirit Bomb active skill to take out the Goku in 1 turn, or at least bring him to within 1 turn OTK, which was awesome. So I am going to be building this unit again for that same strat, but there is a little bit more to the unit. So let's talk about it. This guy's an attack stacker. Main issue was defense. They do cover that up. I wish there was a little bit more, but still, I'll take it. Greatly raises attack permanently, raises defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage, attack and defense plus 159, guards all attacks, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack from 5 turns from first appearance when there's a Universe Rival Saga enemy or ally on the turn. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 10% with each attack received. You got to get hit a total of 6 times to fully build up that passive. This works great with the guard and with a multiple super opportunity on any given turn with that defense boost. Plus an additional attack plus 59 when supering, another attack plus 59, and attacks effective against all types when supering under 59% health once only. So all of these different things mean you are going to be building crazy, crazy attack. Additional is the way to go to build up that attack. Critical is the way to go if you want to execute a lethal finisher with this Spirit Bomb. This is sort of like a pseudo standby finisher, not really a standby mode, but more of a finisher skill, because this unit can do so much damage that it is basically like something that I would consider to be like a finisher skill. So for me, I want to capitalize on this. Just like Spirit Bomb GT, I want that final hit, that Spirit Bomb attack, to be lethal, beyond lethal, a cosmic level threat, an Avengers level threat, an Omega level threat, whatever it is. So I want this guy to have critical. He's an STR unit, so he's got base 5 critical. So I think building a balance of both critical and additional is probably the best case scenario. But if you have to lean on one, I would say probably additional is the way to go. You are going to have attacks effective against all types for 1 instance when you're below 59% health. You also have a base 5 critical on your innate pass, or on your hidden potential anyway. He's an STR. So I think additional and critical is the way to go. I know some people might want some dodge in there because once the guard wears off, you are in kind of a bit of a danger zone, which I get. So if you do want to throw in some dodge, you can do that as well. I just don't care about that. I just want to have fun with this unit. I want to disregard playing it safe, and I want to blitz the enemy into submission. So for me, I don't care about dodge. I care about carnage. Let there be maximum carnage. That's my thought. But for me, I will just let you guys know, I will be giving this guy full critical and then balance additional. That's how I'm going to be personally doing it, because I'm going to be building it for that Spirit Bomb. Moving on now to the Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. This guy might be a bit of a hot take, so let me know what you guys think about this one. This guy greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn for both supers. For the 18 key, he causes Mega Colossal, lowers attack and defense, and seals. This is a very nice combo. Lowering the stats and sealing, along with raising your own, this basically gives you a pseudo damage reduction sort of vibe. So that is actually a very good combination, but it only works on certain situations where you can actually do all this stuff. Attack and defense plus 159 randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow, plus an additional key plus 2 plus per rainbow key sphere obtained. Attack and defense plus 10 per key sphere obtained. There's a nuke. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 10 per Super Saiyan category ally attacking in the same turn other than himself. So that's potentially 14% attack and defense more on your already attack and defense plus 10%. So the nuking potential is through the roof with this guy. Chance to perform critical hit plus 7%, reduces damage received by 7% per rainbow key sphere obtained. Now, I think, again, I kind of want to go for leaning in on what this unit does and does well, and that is damage and coverage. And I think going for additional, personally, is what I'm going to be doing, because with the damage reduction potential being so limited, you can only pick up at most 5 rainbow key spheres, giving you about 35% damage reduction. But more often than not, this is just not going to be happening. You're probably going to end up picking more like 3 rainbow key spheres, maybe 2. So with that few damage reduction, maybe that limited damage reduction, 14%, 21%, combining that with multiple defensive stacks, I think is probably the best way to give this guy more longevity. But then at the same time, you are sacrificing critical hit by not focusing on that. But that's where, again, the critical hit does come in here with the rainbow key spheres picked up. That will give you more of a boost. And then if you want to throw balance into critical, you could do that as well. I think a lot of people have been saying that they want to go for full dodge on this, which I guess you could do. But again, like, it kind of just calls into question the whole philosophy on using a unit. Do you want to make a unit all around effective, or do you want to just make the unit good at what it does? Do you want to have the unit be ready for those emergency once in a while situations where they have to face a lethal super attack, or do you want it to just be more consistent in what it's supposed to be doing? So again, it's a question on philosophy. It's a question on mindset on how you guys like to play. For me personally, I think going for full additional, giving yourself the opportunity for multiple supers, thereby capitalizing more on the nuke in that 1 turn, I think is probably the most effective way to bring out the most out of the unit. But we will ultimately test this out in a showcase. So I will be running this guy on a showcase or 2 to see how the unit functions, and we'll see. So look out for those showcases coming up. I'm going to say max additional, balance, crit. And now the time has come to take a look at the 5-year anniversary EZAs. These 2 units are all I've been waiting for, and I cannot wait to run these guys. So and in their base forms, they both function exactly the same. Both can stack attack infinitely. Both have a 70% chance to dodge in slot 3, as well as a guaranteed additional super attack. So if you're going to be following them off rotations, you will send them out with a guaranteed additional, which is nice. In slots 1 or 2, they have a chance for an additional super attack, which is also good. So they are functioning on both sides of the rotation. Then when they transform, this is where some variety starts to kick in. So let me change these, make sure they're both in their EZA form. All right, so here we go. Both greatly raise it to both greatly raise attack and defense on their 12 key. Both greatly raise defense for 3 turns, multiplicative, and cause Mega Colossal on the 18 key, so that is nice. Now for the passive, here we go. For the Gogeta, evades enemy attack for 1 turn after transformation. Actually, that's the same for both, right? Yeah. Both have guaranteed dodge for 1 turn. Then for the Gogeta, attack and defense plus 150. That's also the same for the Vegito. Key plus 5 launches 2 additional attacks, each of which has a medium chance of becoming a super attack, and attacks effective against all types as the first or second attacker in a turn. The Vegito launches an additional super attack, medium chance to perform another super attack as the first or second attacker in a turn, also key plus 5. So right here, I think the Vegito is better because you've got a guaranteed super and the chance of another super in slot 1 or 2. Here, you are launching 2 attacks, each of which has a medium chance of becoming a super attack. That's not a guarantee, but you make up for it by having attacks effective against all types. I think that this Gogeta does lose in that initial passive arms race, I suppose. Let's move on here. So key plus 7 launches an additional super attack, great chance of evading enemy's attack as the 3rd attacker in a turn. For the Vegito, let's see what goes on here. Key plus 7 launches an additional super attack, great chance to dodge as the 3rd attacker in a turn. So both have the... No, actually, they're not the same. Oh, no. Gogeta here has the guaranteed super attack and a 70% chance to dodge. The Vegito has a 70% chance to dodge and additional. So this is, yeah, this is the same for both. Okay. So then the final part of the passive for the Gogeta, let's check it out. Key +1 up to 5, attack and defense +20 up to 88. With each attack performed, performs a critical hit when activating the active skill or key is 24. For the Vegito, key +1 up to 5, attack and defense 22 up to 88. With each attack performed, launches an additional super attack when activating the active skill or when key is 24. So this unit is focused more on criticals. This unit is focused more on additionals. Vegito can launch 5 or 6 super attacks on any given turn. I have seen it. It has been the talk of the town ever since this unit released on JP. This unit can launch tons and tons of supers. This guy is all about the critical hits. This guy is all about the lethality behind that attack, right? So I think how to build these units is to basically give it the trait that the other one has. Give the critical focused Gogeta max additional and give the additional focused Vegito max critical. That way you can bring out the most out of each unit and what they're doing. Of course, for the Vegito, with all of those attacks coming up, you could throw in more additionals, you know, to increase the chances of you launching more attacks. You could. But for me, with all of these attacks that he's going to be launching, I want them all to count and I want them all to hurt. Sort of like this guy. If this guy's going to be launching a Spirit Bomb, I want it to hurt. And if the Vegeta's going to be launching an attack 5-6 times, I want them to hurt. So my recommendations for the Vegito and the Gogeta: max additional for Gogeta, max critical for Vegito. I cannot wait to run these two units, just to sit back and sit there for 5-10 minutes watching Vegito slice and dice for 5 or 6 or 7 attacks, and then watching Vegito just do crit after crit after crit on every super. Dude, I'm so excited. I can't wait. So there you have it, folks. Just to sum up, here are my recommendations for the EZAs: max critical for the Super Vegito, max additional for the Super Buu, both additional and critical for Blue Kaioken, but more of a focus on additional. Spirit Bomb Absorb, go for max additional. You could go for max crit if you're... Oh, wait. Oops. This is for the Spirit Bomb. Go. What is happening? All right, whatever. This is for the Blue Kaioken. Don't pay any attention to that, okay? So, max critical if you're Spirit Bomb focused. Spirit Bomb Absorb, max additional, balance critical. And then for the 5-year fusions, you want to go for max additional and max critical depending on the unit. Max additional for Gogeta, max critical for the Vegito. There you have it, folks. We are done. All EZAs, all units coming up during the anniversary hidden potential accounted for. Up next, hopefully a data download coming up today or tomorrow, and some animations. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts, your recommendations for hidden potential builds on these units. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have any experiences with these units pre and post EZA that you want to share? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future, and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know when I see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.